And when I went back to go see the fertility doctor, he was like, oh no, your tubes are blocked. He was like, and I don't even think he went through the whole thing. I think he went through the first couple pictures and he was just like, your tubes are blocked. And I was upset because I felt like he didn't even go through the whole thing and he didn't see, you know, I was told something different. And I let him know I was told something different. I even went back to speak to that lady who gave me the information, and she stand firm on what she told me. So what happened was I stopped seeing that doctor because he wanted to go straight into IVF. And I'm like, I don't even know what IVF is. You're not even explaining what IVF is to me. Like he was just like, oh, I can get you pregnant by March, because I went to see him in November. He's like, I can get you pregnant by March. We can get you on the list, get you here, get you there, and start the whole process. But I'm like, what is it? What is IVF? Like, what is it? What do it consist of? And he's talking about needles, and I'm like, I have a needle phobia. Like, how do you expect me to take shots? And I have a needle phobia. He even gave me information for a donor's bank to get the little donor swimmers. I wouldn't want to say the whole word on YouTube. I don't know if you get in trouble for that. But the donor swimmers, if you know what I mean. And I was just like, you know what? You're not explaining this to me, so I don't want to do it. So what happened next is I did look for another doctor. I looked for a second doctor, which was a lady, and she was awesome. She did all these different tests. She did a sonogram, she did blood work, she did genetic testing. She just did everything to kind of figure out what was going on, and we even did another HSG. So I went through the torture again. I went through all that again, and I was just like, at this point, I started researching what IVF was. I started researching what everything was as far as fertility, having problems with blocked tubes, because I kind of believed him afterwards, but I was just like, just in case she tell me the same thing, I just wanted to be prepared for it. At the end, after everything was done, she let me know I did have fibroids, which I never knew I had fibroids. Never knew. She did let me know that my tubes, she told me I had fluid in my tubes, or some type of fluid in my tubes, and my tubes need to be removed. Then she told me I was overweight, so I was like, okay, this is a lot to think about. And she said before we can do IVF, she told me I can do IUI, I can do, it was something else I could have did, but she was like, IVF would probably be your best bet because, we can get that done sooner. And I'm just like, so is IVF something that you know for sure will happen? She said she couldn't guarantee it. So it's like, why get rid of my fallopian tubes if you can't guarantee it? And it's like, the last doctor didn't tell me that. He told me that it was something wrong with my fallopian tubes, that they were blocked. Now you're telling me there's fluid in my fallopian tubes and I need to remove them. So I just wasn't comfortable. I did talk to my family and friends about it, and I kind of got more of a, you shouldn't do it. So what I did was I did go back to my OB, and I just let her know all the things that I was going through. People were telling me, and she was like, no. So she started doing her own sonograms, and I went to her because I had a cycle that was very overflowy. Like it was bad. I was going through overnight pads in 2 hours. So she did schedule me for surgery. I did have pileup, and I did have a fibroid in my lining. She took part of the fibroids out. I think it was a D and C in a hyperoscopy. She did look in there and she said, oh girl, it's a mess. So she did want to go ahead and take out the fibroids, but I was like, I don't know. That's something I have to think about, because I have got to the point where I was on YouTube looking at videos of different women going through different situations with the fibroids, and some women said they came back. So it's just like, yeah. And my fibroids was really small, so I'm like, I even try like doing the tea, crystals, goddess tea, and they were small for a while. They stayed small, and we'll get to that of what happened after that. So after that, after the surgery, I went to go see my third fertility doctor, and my third fertility doctor came with confidence. He had all the confidence. He was like, look, this is what we're gonna do. I seen you have this done. You pretty much have all the tests done. All we need to do is pretty much get started. He still wanted to, to test my hormones. He was like, I'm confident that we can even get you started as soon as possible. He also, it was just, I just felt good with him. Like, I felt like I can trust him. The last two doctors, like the girl doctor, I felt good, but I felt like when she said she wanted to take out my fallopian tubes, I just wasn't comfortable with that. But this doctor, he didn't say anything about fallopian tubes. He didn't say there was anything wrong with my fallopian tubes. He was just like, you know what, let's just do it this way. I'm like, but what about the fluid? He was like, he didn't even want to talk about what the previous doctors even talked about. All he wanted to do was get me started, and he was just like, you know what, this is your percentage. I think my percentage was like 75% chance of getting pregnant the first time. So I felt good. I felt really good. I was like, okay, 75 is not that bad. It's not that bad with my age, my weight, and the things that they were saying. He was just like a 75% chance. All my tests came out perfect. He was like, everything is looking good, so let's just see, let's just monitor everything, and I'll let you know if we need to change anything. And I'm like, okay. And this is August of 2022. So November 4th, back in October, I did go ahead and purchase my donor swimmers from Creole Bank in California. It wasn't many choices on there, I would say that much. More like what you heard from the brat, like there wasn't a lot of black men on there. So having a different race was something that came about just because I had to make sure that whatever, because I have a blood disorder, so whatever blood disorder I had to make sure nobody else had it. Also with my CMV test that I took with the doctor back in October of 2022, I also had to make sure that the person that was online was also negative, that matched my CMV test. A lot of websites were positive, and if you don't know what CMV is, I can go ahead and list that in the description to kind of tell you, but it's just like different diseases that people carry. And I just want to make sure that with me going through this process, that the baby didn't carry any of those diseases since I came up negative for that. So I also found the person who also came up negative didn't have any genetic diseases, and also they had IVF vials. So that was highly important. Someone I would date. So that's what I was looking for when I was looking for the donor swim. Woo! Do I really want to do this? Time is ticking. Okay. 1, 2, 3. It wasn't.
Your area?
Huh? Yeah, I cleaned my area. 2.
All right, go. You look like a peach, huh?
I did it. So I did start the medicine. I got my big box in the mail full of meds, so it was exciting. Like I said, I do have a needle phobia, so all of that was more scary to me than anything. But we did it.